Here's a situation I hear constantly. You're spending real money on ads. The orders are coming in. The meta dashboard shows a return that looks fine. And at the end of the month, when you actually look at your bank account, there's no profit. Or worse, you went backwards. It's one of the most frustrating places to be in e-commerce because it feels like it shouldn't be possible. You're selling things. People are buying. Where's the money going? I've been in that exact spot, running my own store. And after auditing a lot of brands in this situation, I can tell you the pattern is almost always the same. The store owner assumes the problem is in the ad account, dives in there, optimizes the campaigns, and the profit still doesn't show up because the ad account was never the leak. If we haven't met already, I am the digital avatar of Steve, the founder of e-commerce agency Working Digital. While he is helping Shopify brands scale with I am here to keep you up to date with the latest AI strategies for e-commerce. Steve reads every comment, so make sure to drop one below. So this video is about how to audit your whole Shopify marketing, not just your ads, to find where the profit is actually leaking. We'll do the ad account audit properly because that part matters. But then we'll zoom out to the two layers underneath it that the typical ad audit ignores, and that's usually where the real problem is hiding. Let me start with the instinct that keeps people stuck. When sales aren't profitable, the instinct is to go fix the ads. It makes sense. The ads are where the money is going out, so that feels like where the problem must be. So you open the ad account and start tuning. New audiences, new creative, turning campaigns on and off, chasing the dashboard. Here's why that instinct keeps you stuck. Your ad spend is downstream of your unit economics, not the cause of them. The ads are paying to send traffic into your business. Whether that traffic turns into profit depends on what happens after the click, your site converting the visitor, and your email making that customer worth enough to have justified the ad. If those two things are weak, no amount of ad account tuning will make the math work because the leak is past the ad. Think of it like a bucket. The ads are the hose filling it. If the bucket has holes in the bottom, you can adjust the hose all day, change the pressure, aim it differently, and the bucket still won't fill. You have to find the holes. The holes are in your conversion and your retention, and they're invisible from inside the ad account. That's why most ad audits, even good ones, only get you partway. They're excellent at the hose. They tell you which creative is wasting money and how to restructure campaigns, and that's worth doing. But if the audit stops at the ad account, you fix the hose and the bucket still leaks. A real marketing audit checks all three layers. So let's do that, starting with the ads, done right. The ad account audit is real work and you should do it well. Here's the right way, and credit where it's due. The better ad audit content out there gets this part right. Start with a 6 to 12 month window, not last week. You need enough data to see what actually worked and what drained budget over time, not a noisy snapshot. Then anchor everything to one number, your break-even cost per acquisition. That's the most you can pay to acquire a customer and still make money, based on your real margin. Every ad and every campaign gets judged against it. This is the number most struggling brands have never actually calculated, and you can't audit anything without it. Now, sort your spend into efficient and wasted. Pull your ads and look at which ones came in under your break-even cost and which ran over it. In a lot of accounts, well over half the spend is going to ads that are above break-even, quietly draining the budget. That's your wasted spend number, and it's usually shocking the first time you see it. Then separate the creative. Which ads actually drove profitable orders? Which ones got clicks but no profit, and which got nothing? The winners are what you scale and iterate on. The losers either get cut or, if the early signals like click-through and watch time are strong, get restructured before you give up on them. And modern tools make this faster. You can hand a year of ad data to an AI model and have it surface the inefficiencies and the themes in your winning messaging in minutes instead of building pivot tables by hand. That's a legitimately good use of AI, and it's how the better operators audit now. So that's layer one, done properly. Break-even cost, efficient versus wasted spend, winning versus losing creative. If you do only this, you'll cut waste and improve the account. But here's the thing. You can have a clean, efficient ad account and still not be profitable because the next two layers are where the bucket usually leaks. Layer two is conversion. This is the traffic your ads paid for, arriving on your site and either becoming an order or leaving. And this is where most of the money actually leaks. Here's the number that should stop you. The average online store loses around 70% of shoppers at checkout. That's the cart abandonment rate. The Baymart Institute calculates across dozens of independent studies, and it's even worse on mobile. 70% of the people who liked your product enough to add it to cart leave without buying. Your ads paid to bring every single one of them in. Sit with that for a second, because it reframes the whole problem. If your ads are working, they're buying you traffic and add to carts. If your site is converting at the low end, you're paying full price for that traffic and then losing 2/3 or more of it at the finish line. That's not an ad problem. That's a conversion problem. And it shows up in the ad account as a bad return, which is why people misdiagnose it. So in the audit, layer 2 is your site. Walk your own funnel like a customer, especially on mobile, since that's where most traffic is and where conversion is usually worst. Where does it get clunky? Is checkout forcing account creation? Are there surprise shipping costs at the end? Is the product page actually answering the questions a buyer has before they commit? Is the page slow? Every friction point here is profit you already paid to acquire and then dropped. And fixing conversion has a multiplier, the ad account doesn't, because a better conversion rate makes every ad dollar you're already spending go further. Improve conversion and you improve the return on all your existing spend at once without touching the ad budget. That's why this layer often beats anything you can do in the ad account. Layer 3 is retention, and it's the one struggling brands have almost always neglected. This is where a surprising amount of the missing profit is hiding. Here's the logic. How much you can afford to pay for a customer depends on what that customer is worth to you over time, not just on the first order. If a customer only ever buys once, your acquisition cost has to come out of a single purchase, which is brutal math. If that customer buys 3 or 4 times, the same acquisition cost is spread across all of it, and suddenly the ad that looked unprofitable on the first order is very profitable over the relationship. Retention is mostly email and the flows you have running, the abandoned cart recovery that catches some of that 70%, the welcome sequence that turns a first-time buyer into a second purchase, the post-purchase flow, the win back for lapsed customers. And email is one of the highest return levers in all of marketing. Litmus puts it at an average of $36 back for every dollar spent. So in the audit, layer 3 asks simple questions. Do you have the core email flows running at all, or just sending the occasional campaign? Is anyone recovering abandoned carts automatically? Is there a sequence that prompts a second purchase? Most struggling brands find big gaps here, and those gaps are the reason the unit economics don't work. They're acquiring customers at a cost that only makes sense if those customers come back, and then doing nothing to bring them back. When you fix retention, you don't just add a revenue stream. You raise what every customer is worth, which retroactively makes your ad spend more affordable. That's how brands that looked unprofitable on acquisition turn profitable. The ad didn't get cheaper. The customer got more valuable. Now here's why you audit all three together instead of one at a time, because the three layers interact, and that's the whole point. When you look at the ad account in isolation, a bad return looks like an ad problem, so you tune ads. But run the full audit and the real story usually appears. The ads are fine. They're buying traffic and add to carts at a reasonable cost. The site is converting at the low end, so most of that traffic leaks at checkout. And there's no email bringing anyone back, so every customer has to be profitable on the first order, which the leaky checkout makes nearly impossible. That's the actual diagnosis for most spending but not profitable brands. Not the ads are bad, it's the ads are paying to fill a leaky bucket with no lid. And you can only see that when you look at all three layers at once. Audit only the ads, and you'll conclude the ads need work, optimize them, and stay stuck, because you treated a conversion and retention problem as an ad problem. So the order I'd actually fix things is usually the reverse of where people start. First, plug the conversion leaks, because that makes all your current spend more efficient immediately. Second, turn on the retention flows, because that raises what every customer is worth. And then, with the bucket sealed, go optimize the ad account, because now the efficient spend is flowing into a business that actually keeps the profit. Same ad budget, completely different outcome. The spend didn't change. The machine around it did. So you can absolutely run this yourself. Pull your 6 to 12 month ad data and find your break-even cost and your wasted spend. Walk your own checkout on mobile and write down every point of friction. List the email flows you have running and, more tellingly, the ones you don't. That's the audit. Do it honestly and the leak will show itself. The reason people bring in a partner for this is that it's hard to see your own funnel clearly, and the three layers take different skills. Reading an ad account, diagnosing a checkout, and building retention flows aren't the same job, and most brands are strong in one and blind in the others. An outside audit looks at all three with fresh eyes and no attachment to the work that's already there. That's exactly what our free audit does. We look at your ads, your conversion, and your email together, plus your AI visibility, and we show you which layer is actually leaking the profit with a prioritized list of what to fix first. It's free, there's no spend minimum, and you keep the findings whether you work with us or not. Links in the description. The one thing I'd leave you with is this. If you're spending and not profitable, resist the urge to go fix the ads first. Look at the whole machine. The ad account is almost never where a profitable business is hiding. It's in the two layers underneath that nobody told you to check. Next video, we step back to a bigger decision a lot of growing brands face: boutique versus big agency for a $1 to $5 million Shopify store, and how to know which one actually fits where you are.